Have you ever wondered why you can't seem to win consistently in the markets, even when your strategy looks perfect on paper? Why one day you're invincible, and the next, you're giving it all back, emotionally wrecked and confused? This video will change how you trade forever. We will unlock the hidden framework of trading success, not in charts or indicators, but in the one place few traders look, their own mind. Welcome to the ultimate breakdown of Mark Douglas's timeless classic, The Disciplined Trader, Developing Winning Attitudes. Whether you're a struggling beginner, a seasoned trader trying to scale, or someone tired of losing to your own emotions, this is your roadmap. Chapter 1. Why Most Traders Lose. Let's start with a brutal truth. Over 90% of traders fail. And it's not because they're uneducated, lazy, or unlucky. It's because they haven't trained their psychology. Douglas says the key to trading isn't in predicting the market, it's in mastering yourself. That means discipline, emotional control, and perhaps most importantly, adaptability. Most traders treat the market like a game they can outsmart. But the truth is, your beliefs, the ones shaped by family, school, society, are completely mismatched for the trading environment. You are trained to think success comes from effort, time, and control. But in trading, effort means nothing. Time means nothing. And control? That's a myth. Douglas shares his own story. He was a rising star in the insurance industry. Smart, driven, ambitious. He moved to Chicago to chase trading dreams, and within 8 months, he was broke. Lost his house, his Porsche, his identity. But in that collapse, he discovered something most traders never do. The market didn't defeat him. His beliefs did. The market is a mirror. It reflects what's inside you. If you're scared, greedy, desperate, you will trade from those emotions and your results will show it. Douglas realized, if you want consistent results, you need a consistent mindset. And that means letting go of old thinking. Chapter 2. The need for a new thinking methodology. Why can't we just trade like we live? Make plans, take action, and expect results? Because the market isn't the real world. It's an unstructured, fluid, uncaring environment. Douglas explains. In everyday life, we grow up with structure. Parents, teachers, rules. If we behave well, we're rewarded. If not, we're punished. We learn to avoid pain and seek safety. But in trading, there are no rules. No authority figures, no structure. You can do whatever you want, and that freedom is dangerous. Every moment offers unlimited risk, unlimited reward. Every tick can fulfill your wildest dreams or destroy your account. You bring your beliefs about money, success, failure into this environment. And those beliefs, unless restructured, become your biggest liabilities. This is why Douglas argues that traders need a completely new mindset. One not built on control, but on adaptation. Not on certainty, but on probability. The disciplined trader doesn't try to force the market to behave. He learns to flow with it. Chapter 3. The market is always right. Let's explore one of the most powerful and humbling lessons in The Disciplined Trader. The market is always right. If you've ever yelled at a chart or begged a position to turn around, you know the feeling. The market is wrong. It shouldn't be doing this. But here's the truth. The market is never wrong. Only your expectation of it is. Mark Douglas teaches that the market is pure. It's not out to get you. It doesn't owe you anything. It simply reflects the combined actions of thousands of participants buying, selling, and reacting to information, emotion, fear, greed. If price is rising, it's because buyers are more aggressive than sellers. If it's falling, the opposite is true. That's it. There's no conspiracy, no hidden force targeting your stop loss. This means when you're in a trade and the market moves against you, it's not a betrayal. It's information. And that information is a gift if you can learn to accept it without ego. So, how do traders resist the market? Through denial, rationalization, justification. It'll come back. It always does. Or worse, doubling down on a bad position out of pride. Douglas reminds us that this resistance is rooted in childhood conditioning. We're taught that if we follow rules, we'll be rewarded. But the market doesn't work that way. There are no rules except one. The market does what it does. To become a disciplined trader, you must internalize this mantra. I am not here to be right. I am here to listen. Because once you accept the market's authority, once you stop fighting its message, you free yourself to act with clarity. You become adaptable, detached, responsive, and that's where real consistency begins. Chapter 4. Emotional risk. The real enemy. What do most traders fear the most? Not the market, not even the loss. What they fear is the emotion that comes with the loss. Mark Douglas introduces a vital concept, emotional risk. It's the internal turmoil, the psychological discomfort that comes when the market contradicts our expectations. You're not just risking money. You're risking your identity, your confidence, your sense of worth. If your identity is wrapped up in being right, every losing trade will feel like a personal attack. That's why traders hold on to losers, not because it makes sense, but because it hurts too much to accept the loss. Douglas explains that this pain is rooted in beliefs, early conditioning that linked failure with punishment or shame. So what do? We avoid the pain. We justify. We hope. We hesitate. But that avoidance creates losses. The disciplined trader doesn't fear being wrong because they've detached their self-worth from their trades. Instead of thinking, I am a loser, they think, that trade didn't work. What can I learn? This mindset is liberating. When losses are just information, not identity, you can cut them quickly without trauma. Douglas teaches that emotional risk is managed not by willpower, but by rewiring your beliefs. That means 1. Giving yourself permission to lose. 2. Accepting uncertainty as normal. 3. Trusting your system over your emotions. The greatest traders aren't fearless. They've just made peace with fear. This is emotional mastery. This is trading without trauma. This is the path to becoming the disciplined trader. Chapter 5. The power of clear goals. One of the most overlooked tools in trading isn't technical or analytical. It's psychological clarity. And that begins with setting precise, meaningful goals. Douglas explains that most traders enter the market with vague dreams. I want to make money. But this isn't a goal, it's a fantasy. Real goals have structure, metrics, and personal meaning. When your goal is to never lose or be right, you're unknowingly setting yourself up for failure. Why? Because losses are inevitable. Being wrong is part of the game. Douglas urges us to define our goals in a way that aligns with the realities of the market. Instead of fixating on outcome, focus on process. Examples of effective goals. 1. Execute 100% of valid trade signals without hesitation. 2. Cut losses at predetermined levels. No exceptions. 3. Log every trade and review weekly for emotional patterns. These goals develop discipline. They build trust. And trust is everything when real money's on the line. Without clear goals, your trading decisions will be hijacked by emotion, doubt, greed, fear. But with a defined objective, you anchor your mind. You build internal consistency. Remember, markets are unpredictable. But you don't have to be. This chapter isn't just about setting targets, it's about reorienting your mind from hope to purpose. Chapter 6. Managing mental energy. When most traders think about risk, they think of money. But there's another currency, even more fragile and finite: mental energy. Douglas reminds us that trading is one of the most mentally taxing professions. It demands rapid decision making under uncertainty, while fighting off stress, temptation, and self doubt. Every trade consumes energy, not just cognitive effort, but emotional bandwidth. And when your energy depletes, so does your clarity, discipline, and objectivity. Have you ever overtraded out of boredom? Held a loser too long because you were too tired to think clearly? That's what happens when your energy is mismanaged. To become a disciplined trader, you must treat your mind like an elite athlete treats their body, with care, recovery, and boundaries. Douglas's tips for managing mental energy. 1. Trade only when emotionally centered. 2. Avoid revenge trading after a loss. 3. Take scheduled breaks. 4. Keep a clear, organized workspace. 5. Limit external distractions. Most important of all, know when to walk away. Just because the market is open doesn't mean you should be trading. Douglas teaches that trading in a fatigued state is like driving drunk. Your judgment is impaired, but your overconfidence masks it. Protect your energy, because when your mind is sharp, your edge becomes lethal. Chapter 7. Techniques for Changing Beliefs. So far, we've discussed what must change your expectations, your mindset, your relationship to risk. But how do you actually change it? How do you transform beliefs that feel so deeply ingrained? Douglas teaches that beliefs aren't fixed. They're built often without your awareness from memories, repetition, and emotional impact. And anything built can be restructured. But here's the catch. You can't fight beliefs head on. You must replace them with stronger, more functional ones. Steps for changing trading beliefs. 1. Identify limiting beliefs, such as I must win to feel worthy, or losing means I failed. 2. Trace their origin. Where did this idea come from? Is it rational? 3rd, challenge the belief. Does it help or harm your performance? 5. Install a new belief, like losses are feedback, not failure. 5. Reinforce the new belief through journaling, affirmations, and action. Douglas emphasizes rehearsal. The more you mentally practice disciplined behavior, the more automatic it becomes. And it's not about lying to yourself. It's about consciously choosing empowering beliefs that match your trading goals. It's that simple and that powerful. You must train your mind to see losing as normal, to see rules as freedom, and to see uncertainty not as danger, but as potential. When you change your beliefs, you don't just trade better, you become a different kind of trader. One who thrives. One who wins, not despite uncertainty, but because of how well they manage it. Chapter 8. Becoming a disciplined trader. After all the lessons, tools, and mindset shifts, we arrive at the core question. What does it really mean to be a disciplined trader? Discipline in trading isn't about being robotic. It's not about suppressing emotions. It's about creating a mental structure that supports consistent execution, no matter what the market does. Mark Douglas breaks down discipline into habits. Habits of thought, habits of observation, habits of behavior. Core traits of the disciplined trader. 1. They follow their rules without exception. 2. They treat each trade as a single event, not part of a larger narrative. They measure success by process, not outcome. They manage risk, not just to protect capital, but to preserve mindset. 5. They review, reflect, and refine continuously. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's not always exciting. But it's the bedrock of consistency. Douglas shows that becoming disciplined is not a single decision, it's a practice, a path. And on this path, setbacks are part of growth. You won't be perfect. You'll still feel fear, greed, hesitation. But over time, those emotions lose their power because your identity is no longer at their mercy. When you trust yourself to act consistently, no matter the chaos, You become what Douglas calls the disciplined trader. And that's when trading becomes not just a job, but a reflection of your highest self. Chapter 9: The Cycle of Growth. Growth in trading doesn't come from information, it comes from transformation. And transformation happens in cycles, not straight lines. Douglas describes the journey of the trader as a psychological evolution. We begin as unconscious incompetence. We don't know what we don't know. Then we become conscious incompetence, aware of our flaws, but not yet able to change them. This is often the most painful stage. But with repetition, awareness, and belief reconditioning, we enter conscious competence, able to act correctly, though it still takes effort. Eventually, we reach the rarest state, unconscious competence. Trading becomes automatic, effortless, integrated into who we are. But here's the truth. This cycle repeats. New levels bring new challenges. The market evolves. You evolve. So the disciplined trader accepts growth as endless. There's no finish line, only deeper levels of understanding. This is what separates amateurs from professionals. Not how much they know, but how committed they are to learning. They journal. They study their behavior. They measure progress emotionally, not just financially. They celebrate small wins, cutting a loss quickly, sticking to a plan, walking away instead of overtrading. Douglas reminds us that every mistake is a doorway. Every frustration is feedback. And when you embrace this cycle, when you commit to the path, not just the payoff, you evolve into more than just a trader. You become a master of yourself. Chapter 10: The Real Journey. Here we are, the final chapter. But if there's one thing Mark Douglas teaches, it's that the journey of trading mastery never truly ends. Douglas closes The Disciplined Trader with a powerful insight. Trading is not about conquering the market. It's about knowing yourself. Yes, the market will always offer opportunities. But whether you capitalize on them depends entirely on your mental framework, your beliefs, your discipline, your emotional resilience. The market is the ultimate psychological mirror, and each trade is a reflection, not of your strategy, but of your state of mind. This final lesson is not just about trading, it's about life, about becoming someone who can remain calm in chaos, detached in uncertainty, and intentional in the face of randomness. Douglas urges us to stop seeking the market's approval, to stop chasing money as a validation of our worth. Instead, we should pursue mastery. Mastery of our thoughts, our reactions, and our choices. The disciplined trader is not someone who wins every trade. They are someone who wins the internal battle every single day. And that is your journey. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive into the disciplined trader. If this resonated with you, share it with a fellow trader. Drop your thoughts in the comments. And remember, trading mastery doesn't begin with a system. It begins with you.